these faces? How about these? What do these men have in common? These are some of the perpetrators of the largest mass shooting incidents in the United States in the past 20 years. The Columbine shooting, Virginia Tech massacre, the Tucson, Arizona shooting last year, and the most recently, the Aurora shooting in the movie theater. So who gave these men the rights to take away innocent lives? The innocent lives, the faces we saw in the first two slides. Did the president order the attack? Of course not. They have no right to take away innocent lives. But who gave these men the right to possess a weapon to perpetrate their crime? The Constitution itself gave them a right to possess an arm. Does this make sense to you? The Constitution that was written over 200 years ago gave people today the right to possess weapons of mass destruction to take away innocent lives. Now, some of you might argue, guns don't kill people, people kill people. The root cause of the problem is not gun control. But later on, I will show you some statistics and some examples from other countries, which shows that by having gun control, it will help to reduce the amount of gun violence. Let's first start looking at some statistics. This is murder with firearms by country. The United States is ranked 4th. It's very high. Now, let's focus our attention on Australia, which is ranked 25th. In 1996, a lone gunman in the state of Tasmania in Australia, he killed 35 people. It was one of the largest shooting incidents, massacres in Australian history. The Australian government took action right away. They passed a law to enforce gun control. The measures they took include, they made it illegal for anyone to own a weapon which, for example, is semi-automatic or guns that could invoke large amount of damage in a very short amount of time. They also required all citizens to register their firearms. They also had a very aggressive weapon buyback program where the government will pay you money if you turn in your weapon. These measures help to greatly reduce the amount of weapons circulating in Australia. And as a result, Australia has not had a single massacre event since 1996, whereas from 1980 to 1996, they have had 13. Let's look at a country that's ranked 28th on this list, Japan. Japan is known for producing some of the more violent video games as well as animations. Yet, they rank 28th. So some of you might argue, oh, it's the media, all the video games and movies that's creating all these monsters, killing these monsters. But look, in Japan's case, their men and women are exposed to the same amount of violence, yet they don't need to endure the same kind of yearly massacre that we see on news every year. Do you need a license to drive? Yes, you need a license to drive. But do you need a license to kill? Apparently in some states in the US, you don't. In Colorado, Louisiana, and Arizona, you don't need a state permit to own a gun. Now, is it a coincidence that Columbine and Aurora shooting both happened in Colorado, and the Tucson shooting happened in Arizona last year? Now, you may ask, why has it been such a difficult task to pass gun control law in this country? This is the main reason, the Constitution. Any law that tries to control the firearms in this country would have a huge hurdle because it would be considered unconstitutional. The Constitution was written in well over 200 years ago. Does it still make sense to follow this in today's age. Things have changed. Back in 200 years ago, it takes a minute to reload a gun. Nowadays, in a single minute, you can fire 600 rounds of bullets with this AK-47. When our founding fathers drafted the Constitution, I don't know if they foresee that the weapon technology would have advanced in such a rapid pace. Back then, it was a necessity for people to bear arms and protect their land and their home. But nowadays, we have modern technology. Our police force are much more advanced nowadays. Is it really necessary for citizens to own firearms for self-protection? Do you really feel much safer with a gun in your home? So in conclusion, as I've presented the examples from other countries, how successful they have been in controlling firearms, and I have shown that the Constitution is outdated in this matter. I think now it's time for us to take action and urge the lawmakers to push through gun control law and make our country a safer place to live in.